572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Hi, this is Lotus. Join me every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Rev-Up St. Lucia for Unrestricted. What we don't talk about, what we should talk about, and what we will be talking about. Don't forget to join me every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Rev-Up St. Lucia for Unrestricted.
It's now time for Unrestricted with the beautiful Lotus. Lotus, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Andre. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Good morning on X. Good morning on YouTube, Facebook, Radioland, online. Good morning, everyone.
And we're in our new frequency, by the way.
Yes.
95.9.
Yes, Andre, I have to say it's a lot better because on my way to do the show every morning, every Wednesday morning, I used to lose the
signal.
connection, the signal around Moshi, like in the back, because I would pass in the back road and I couldn't hear anything. It would just change to a French song, and so now it's really clear and clean, and
lovely,
so I'm really happy about that.
Glad to hear that.
Yes, Andre. Good morning again, everyone. It would be remiss of me if I didn't express my sincere condolences on the passing of Tony. I think I don't want to get too deep into anything because, you know, we all grieve differently, and I don't do death very well. I shut down. Anytime, you know, somebody has died that I know very well, I sort of just retreat to the back. And this time was no different. But I have to say, Andre, what pulled me out of the mire was just seeing you, hearing your voice on Monday morning. I think a lot of the listeners would agree with me. I was waiting with bated breath because I said to myself, I don't know how Andre is going to do Monday morning. And when I heard your voice, I have to tell you, that courage, that strength that you exhibit, and it's not just that, it's having the balance to grieve as well, because I saw you break down, and that's when I began to bawl. I couldn't do that on air. I would just feel so overwhelmed. But I have to tell you, your strength really inspires action, and inspired me in so many ways. I said to myself, this week I couldn't think of anything to talk about. I mean, I didn't sleep last night. I was so restless. My brain was all over the place. I had to say, Lord, am I having a what is happening? I feel like I'm having a breakdown because I can't think of anything to talk about. But I said, you know what? I have to go. And since I started last week and we had so many calls with the program that I had, I didn't get into the expectations of the teachers for the parents. So I said I will just continue that because I just couldn't get around getting my new show together. For this morning. So I just want to tell you that we love you. I want you to know that the support is there. You need to accept it, because a lot of times men, especially men, they think they can do everything and sometimes they don't take support very well. But everybody loves you and everybody loves your family. Like we've seen, I think you've been an example for what family is and what family should be. And so I just want to let you know that I am here, we are here to support.
Okay.
It may seem that like I have retreated, but no, I am here because seeing you here really gives me the opportunity. And Tony was just, let me say, I have known him just almost 2 years when we opened, and he was a super fan of Unrestricted. He always encouraged me, and I mean, you're a fan too, don't get me wrong.
No, that's all right.
But he was a super fan, and we bonded over music. He really loved music, and I love music. And I remember when we started with the request program, nobody knew, but every time I sent my song, he would make a reference to the fact that there were two people that he cannot believe the repertoire of music. It was myself and a guy. And I would always say to him, you know, Tony, did you play my song? Because sometimes I would miss it. I would have a meeting and I would miss it. And I would come back and say, Tony, did you play my song? He said, yes, I played your song. You didn't hear it? I said, no. And he would play it again or play it last. And I would, be so excited. he was just
that kind of person.
Yes, he was just that type of person. And I could hear him saying, I understand why you would just move on, like, continue everything, because I could hear him saying, yeah, man, let's do it. Let's do the show. The show needs to go on.
Yeah.
That was him. So I think just, in paying tribute to him and his heart, and just, watching Kina and his girlfriend, well, significant other, speak of him so highly, and just showing us the love that he had in him as a person, and what he expressed to us, and what I experienced with him. He will not be forgotten. And I came in this morning and my heart was really heavy, because every time I come in, I see him in his office. If he's there before me, he would give me a hug. And imagine how life can be cut off so quickly. Last week, Wednesday, I didn't give him a hug because I think I came in before him. And when I came upstairs after the show, as I always do, I say, guys, have a good day. I hug Kino. Kino gives me a kiss and I hug him. And I never knew that would be the last time I was hugging him. I did hug him very, very tightly last Wednesday. And, wow. It is crazy.
Yep.
But anyway,
But
I don't want to have...
On behalf of my family, I want to say thank you very much for your kind words.
You're welcome, Andre. You're welcome. I think that's the least I can do.
And I'm his only brother, actually, and I'm the only member of the immediate family living in St. Lucia. Most of the family is overseas, so I have to be strong.
Wow. But you do show it, Andre, and I think that balance, I always use the word balance, you also show your vulnerability as well. I think a lot of times men don't want to show us that they cry, but I like the fact that you said to the friend, if we have to break down, we have to break down, let's do it. And that, I think, really hopefully sent a strong message to our men, to be vulnerable and open, and to let us see your pain so we can at least be there for you and go through it with you. So before my voice starts to tremble, Andre, and then I start to make a big fool of myself. I'm one of those ugly criers. Let's go to the show. Let's go to the show. So last week I was so surprised. It was such a nice surprise last week when we were talking about the expectations of parents and teachers in our back to school show. People called. I mean, it was really, really good. But I didn't get to the expectations of teachers. We were talking about the expectations of parents, and a few callers. One caller called to say that he felt the teachers needed to be doing a lot more than the parents. And of course, we had a few calls that didn't believe that. And we even had, I think, someone who called and she was a teacher and she was expressing just her thoughts. So this morning I wanted us to continue looking at the expectations of the teachers, because a lot of times we talk about parents, like what we expect from our teachers, what we want to see our children get, and how we want to see our teachers treated. But many times we don't think of the teachers. So in my research before, it showed a lot of at times we dehumanize teachers. We don't think of them as human beings. We think of them as heroes. We think of them as, magicians, like they can just snap their fingers and things will get done. But no, they are also human. They also have children as well. Many of our teachers are parents. So our parents need to, there are some things that we as parents, the teachers they expect from us. And one of the first thing is to communicate with the teachers and preserve your relationship with the teachers. And that is a big one. That's why it's first, is the level of communication. As I always say, a lot of us do not know how to communicate. And so even some of the teachers don't know how to communicate very well, because sometimes, you're able to teach a class, but still you don't know how to communicate one-on-one with some of the teachers, the parents. But teachers expect that as parents, we will be able to communicate openly and honestly. And we also have to be, reasonable, because we understand. Even one of the teachers who called last week, she was saying that sometimes they have 35 children in a class, or 48. Could you imagine that there's so many students, but a lot of us as parents, we only have one child in the class, right? So we go with the expectation that the teacher must pay attention to our child, because our child is the most important child in the class.
True.
Nobody else is important but our child. Andre, it's your child, right? So you're thinking that everything must be about Nairobi. So when you go to see the teacher, you have that expectation that the teacher need to give her undivided attention to your child and nobody else. As a matter of fact, whilst I was putting the show together a few weeks, 1 or 2 weeks ago, I was speaking to a teacher, and the teacher was telling me about child profiling, which happens in the classroom. And what that means is that some children or some parents believe that their children are so much more important than the other children because they're probably a doctor or a lawyer, and so their child is actually profiled to be treated a little better. Even to change the classes. So for instance, when school reopens, you might have, say, Dr. So-and-so child in my class, but because he is Dr. So-and-so child, he has to be removed from my class and be put in a favorite teacher's class, or the teacher that is connected to his parent. So one time you see there's a preference being set up for that child. So this is something that, you know, the teachers have to be very careful about, and parents also have to be careful about. You cannot expect that the focus will be on your child alone, because the teacher has other children to attend to. And some parents are very, very rude about it. They come and they want you to talk to them about their child, or they want to come to the class and almost disrupt the class. So teachers, the expectations of teachers is that you are able to communicate in a way that is respectful, that is reasonable, that you take into consideration she has other students, and the way you carry yourself as well is a reflection of what your child is going to do. Because a lot of us as parents go to the school and really behave like a child. Even worse, right? Some of us go, we have foul language, we're so upset, our body language is that of somebody who wants to fight. You know, some of us even...
You say wants to fight?
Or some of us come to fight.
It actually happens. This is one of the problems that they're facing in Trinidad and Tobago right now. It's so serious now that in some secondary schools in Trinidad, they actually have armed police officers in there right now.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Security. So
it's all about protecting the children, of course, those who are being bullied, and also the teachers.
Some of
parents.
The parents behave, oh my goodness, some of the parents behave so badly.
So can you imagine that? Armed police officers in a school? I never imagined that.
I never imagined that. But that is also scary too, Andre, because as children, you know, to see that there are armed police officers, it also, I think, there's an impact on that child. You know, it's because as an adult, sometimes when I'm driving on the road and there's a police a stop, right? You see sometimes they have the camouflage with the big guns. It really raises your blood pressure when you see them. Even though you know you're not doing anything wrong, it just makes you feel, oh my God, what's happening? The
show of force.
Exactly.
It intimidates you.
It intimidates you. So you could imagine a parent or child going to school and seeing that, you know, the police officer is there, and, you know, so... I think parents, one of the expectations, again, like I said, the first one is to communicate, to be able to communicate with the teachers in a way that is respectful, transparent, even, you know, making sure that the children know that you are interested in what they're doing, but in a way that they can see that you respect the teacher, and so they themselves have that. Because we know that some of the students really feel that their teachers are even better than you. I don't know if you've ever had that, Andre. Sometimes the children come home and you teach them, they say something and you say, no, that's not right. They say, yes, my teacher said it. And basically that's the end of the conversation, because no matter what you say, they believe their teachers. So
remember I was telling you last week that when I was going to school, I had a particular way of working out.
Yes, a problem.
Yeah, exactly. And now the children are doing it differently. And when you tell them, they say, no, my teacher says, whatever.
Exactly. So they really hold their teachers in
high regard.
So teachers expect that the parents must also come with that kind of regard as well, in terms of respect. Now, some of the teachers as well, like I said, do not know how to communicate. So you may go to a teacher and the way the teacher responds to you triggers some of the parents. the other parent may say, but I'm only trying to. But as well, you have to take into consideration some of these teachers are so overwhelmed and so, they have so much on their plate sometimes that they don't even take the time to really calm down in their thoughts to respond to you. So as parents, some of us need to learn how to manage that as well, to take into consideration that the teachers also have a lot. That's not to say that the teacher does not have a responsibility, because if you take a job as a teacher, you do have the responsibility to, communicate adequately and respectfully with parents as well. It's a two-way street.
I wonder if teachers go through any kind of training to deal with those kinds of issues.
I would imagine that in their programs, Andre, when they do teacher education, they would do subjects like, I would imagine psychology, but maybe education, communication, some sort of communication course. I would imagine that the program would facilitate a little bit of that. I don't know how much it goes in depth.
I think you're right when you say a little bit of that.
A little bit of that. And the other thing too, like somebody called, I think last week, was saying, some people get into teaching even though it's not paying as much, because we always talk about the fact that teachers don't get paid enough. But some people go into teaching because it's a job that is available, and sometimes parents feel like they don't like children. We had a caller, I think last week, that was talking about the child suffering from, I don't know if it's ADD or ADHD or whatever the child has, some sort of attention issue or something, and or autistic, and the teacher treated the child very poorly. He's treating the child very poorly. So there are teachers who they do not have the temperament for children, but they're in it because that's where they get their daily bread. I am hoping that it's not on a large scale. It's only the one off and on, you find one or two teachers, maybe doing that sort of thing. But I'm hoping that generally people who want to teach have the love for teaching. Yeah,
I agree.
Let's share the numbers, because we definitely want to continue the conversation and we want our callers to engage us.
Okay, so the fixed line, by the way, the lines are open, is 572-9710. Fixed line 572-9710, or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. The WhatsApp platform, it is 287-0971. Now, let us imagine, I say those numbers repeatedly, and people still say, I don't say it slow enough. So let me say it again.
Say it again.
The fixed line is 572-9710. 572-9710, or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971.
Okay, great. So we spoke about the communication with teachers and to preserve your relationship with the teachers. That's the first thing in terms of the expectations of the teachers. They expect you to be able to communicate. The next thing is the teachers expect that you will support your child with challenging peer interactions. You as the parent need to support your child with challenging peer interactions. And what this means is that it is next to impossible to prevent wounding that happens between kids. Kids always have things going on between them. They tell each other unkind words, they fight with each other, they push each other. So there are times when they are left out and unkind words may be said and gossip hurts. When pair troubles are present, it is helpful for parents to draw out tears at home and help them find their words for what happened. What is most important is for your child to see that an adult believes in them. Confide in a teacher when a child is struggling with other kids too, and there may be things that they can do in the classroom with supervision on the playground, or of course if the teacher is willing and the teacher is involved. So parents now need to have that interaction with their kids, supporting them in terms of how to deal with their peers. Some kids do not know how to interact with other children, right? So that's why some of them fight with their peers. They say unkind things because they do not know how to interact. And as parents, we need to take that responsibility. The teachers expect us. We cannot just expect the teacher to do everything for us. We have to be able to communicate with this child, find out what happened, listen to the child. And if your child is wrong, in a loving way, you let your child know that your child is wrong. You do not have your child quarreling at the school with you and your child against the other child. We had a show one time where we talk about parents who go to the school and confront children. So what this is saying is that you as the parent, the teacher expects that you will be responsible for that peer interaction that the child engages in, that the child have. So a lot of us, our children communicate with their peers based on how we communicate at home or what we teach them in terms of how we behave. Because you know the children watch you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you cursing and quarreling and saying things, the children say the same thing. I mean, so many times teachers tell you that the children come to school and they hear the children saying certain things from your house, from your bedroom.
Now, in all fairness, sometimes that is not the case.
What do you mean?
Sometimes the children say things that they hear from their friends.
From their friends. That's true.
And sometimes
That's true too.
they do things that they see their friends doing.
see their friends doing. Yeah,
because the parents know nothing about it.
Sometimes the parents don't know, but sometimes children also behave in certain ways that they see their parents behaving.
That's correct.
Where they
Yes.
think it's okay to behave like that.
Mhm.
You know, so one of the expectations is that the teachers are saying, you know, you are also, you know, responsible for helping them where your child interactions with their friends are concerned. We talk about emailing our teachers weekly. Nowadays, before we never had emails between, we didn't have soft technology between parents and teachers, and we had to go to the school, Andre. If you did something wrong, your parents had to go to the school. They would call for your parents to come to the school. Nowadays, we have WhatsApp. We have WhatsApp groups between the class and the parents, the teachers, and so it is easier now for parents to communicate directly with the teachers. Now, there's a caveat here, because the expectations of the teacher is that you are going to interact with her or him on behalf of your child.
Okay.
We have a call?
Yes, I believe you do. So this is Unrestricted, hosted by Lotus.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, Lotus. Morning, Andrew Paul.
Morning, sir.
Morning. I listened to your show last week, and I try to keep it as short as possible, but I figure, let me share my sentiments. I do not have kids, first and foremost. But what I find when we're making reference to the teachers, I do believe that the teachers are not supposed to be catering to the children. My fundamental belief is that if a parent, right, depends on a teacher, or anybody for that matter, to raise the child or to be that second parent, then they are failed as a parent from the get-go. To me, the teacher is not obligated in any form of fashion to look at your child for you. Now, again, I deliberately said I don't have children because I do not, I cannot really direct it. But if I'm a teacher doing my job, getting paid, and most likely not getting a good enough salary, why would I sacrifice and go above and beyond for the child? I do what I do. I have my curriculum, and I get paid, and I just call it a day.
So let me ask you. Put a pin here. When you talk about the teacher does not have, that's not the teacher's responsibility. You're saying that your curriculum does not include a certain level of care and concern, and you are not responsible for that child in your care during the day?
Well, I wouldn't say you're necessarily responsible. I understand what you're saying. The fact that it's under a child, and naturally with the adults, and they're naturally in your care by default. You're responsible.
That's right.
But in terms of the indirect parenting aspect of the situation, I do not believe that the teacher in any form of fashion is obligated. Remember, the teachers human beings who may have their own children, who may have their own cons and forms, and you know what I mean.
That's
right.
right.
So at the end of the day, I do not see it, because I feel some callers literally barging down on teachers and saying that teachers is supposed to do this, and I don't believe that, because I put myself in their situation. I've been a hard day, my children had time, and to come back and dealing somebody else's child, I think we're thinking about it wrong. I mean, as long as the teacher is paid, they're professional. The child comes to class, he passes the exam, we move on. Because remember, the teacher is just there for maybe one year. You understand? The teacher is not obligated to be friends with the children. The only thing I disagree with them is that they do not put their hands on people's children. You understand?
Okay.
And again, that's another reason why I do not have children, and I do not intend to have children, because of all those things that happen around.
Well, you know, caller, I love a caller like you. I mean, there's all types of people, and there's nothing wrong with you making that decision, you know?
Yeah. And actually, going off a tangent, Andrea, I know you would probably try and pull me back in, but I'm not judge of my friends, my circle, do not have children. And I think it's just a great thing. I put it on the news. But going back to the students again, I don't think the teacher is responsible. It's not responsible. I could understand maybe they have little scenarios where the child of school, the teacher could put out a lending hand fight. I think there's nuances or whatever. But
But fundamentally, you don't think that the teacher is responsible?
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, those things, as a teacher, by extension, happens naturally. You'll be drawn to one child more than the other. And But you said something that's true. A lot of people are teachers, by extension, police officers as well. That goes to them. They just do it for the game paid. Understand? But we all know teachers do not get paid well for. So you have to take all those factors into consideration, mix them up, and understand from the perspective of a teacher. You may get the outliers, the extraordinary teachers, but generally, I don't think you're obligated. As a parent, you raise your child the way you're supposed to. You make the time and you do what you have to, and don't depend on outside entities to do that for you. And that's my honest opinion.
Okay, thank you, caller. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now you see the caller. Is everything okay, Andre?
Yes, everything is fine.
So the caller was basically saying that he doesn't think that teachers are responsible for, raising your kids. Now, I mean, of course, my perspective on it is that to me, the caller sounds very clinical in terms of his separation between the child and the teacher. But I don't think it is like that, because if you're teaching children, and yes, your responsibility is to administer curricula and, instruction, I think the relationship, by virtue of you being a teacher, will be more, soft. There will be a connection with yourself and your students. So in spite of us trying to be as clinical as, we want as teachers, I think we cannot even expect that. The relationship is just automatic.
You have another call.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Unrestricted. We were talking about the expectations of the teachers this morning.
Okay. Good morning, Andre. Good morning, Lotus.
Good morning. Good morning to you.
Yeah. Thanks for accepting my call. Huh?
You're welcome.
Yeah. Before I go on the teacher-parent there, the caller said something there, and I don't quite agree with what he said there.
Okay.
Yeah. Like when he said he doesn't want children, whatever. Well, that's for another show. Yeah. Lotus, last week I said I expect more from the teachers. And I still stand by that. Because, let me tell you, there are things in teachers that you'll never find in parents,
Can you give us an example?
Yeah. Yeah, to shape that a child, future and disciplined conduct. To me, a teachers have things that, to me, you can't get those things in parents. Lotus.
Okay.
Because while I came from a home with disciplined conduct, but to me, when I was going to school, I'm speaking from a personal point of view. I used to obey my teachers more than my parents.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And they never failed me. So that's why I say, teachers, I expect more. And I stand by that. I expect more. While the parent play his or her part, their part. But because another word for teacher you can say is instructor. Now, a parent, unless the home where we have teachers and so forth, you come from a home where we have teachers and so forth. But when you're coming from a home where there is no teacher and you go into school, the teachers, they are the one, to me, who is responsible. I expect more. I won't use that word too heavy, that word responsible, but the teachers, I expect more. Because the teacher, when you come to school, you heard the teacher will ask me, hey, did you pray? Did you pray last night? Did you pray this morning? Did you have... You see, all those things I expect from teachers. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I stand by it. I say teachers, all teachers, I expect more.
Okay.
While we parents play our part to see that our children have discipline, conduct, and those stuff. But you see, the teachers, I believe the teachers are the one. Teachers are the one who really shape, and that's their job, to shape our
children. Okay.
Our children. And I believe some teachers or even parent or even the system take this thing lightly. Either they don't give the teachers the tool they need or whatever, but the teachers are the one I expect more from than the parent.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Let me just give those numbers again. The fixed line is 572-9710. Fixed line 572-9710. Or WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. Lotus, it's interesting. He said something that really caught my attention there. He was saying what the teachers would do, like ask, did you pray, things like that. Isn't that amazing? And he's linking that with the admiration and respect that the children have for the teachers.
Yes, I mean
that's amazing.
He does. That's what I'm saying. And now, even when you compare that to the caller before, was basically for what I was getting. He was a little more removed from the child's that level of connection, whereas he focused more on your job. It's your job to just come and give instructions, as opposed to now being that stalwart in your development that asks you whether you have prayed. So I guess the different perspectives. But we also looking at what teachers expect from the parents to do to help them also develop that child holistically. One of the things, again, we were talking about was the WhatsApp group. It is your responsibility as a parent. The teachers expect that you will follow up on your child's development. So the teacher may not remember to message you or to tell you what's happening in the class. She may forget to put something in the group, or she may have put it in the group and you missed it. It is your responsibility to find out what's happening. Teachers expect that you will ask them questions. Not inappropriately. Don't use the WhatsApp group. The etiquette for the WhatsApp group is that you don't send inappropriate messages in the group. If you want to discuss something with the teacher privately, you don't put it in the group. That you would pull the teacher on a side to talk about it. So the teacher do expect that you will follow up on your child's development.
In school.
At the end.
Yeah, that's important, because you're making a good point. Last week you were saying that sometimes the children behave a particular way in our presence, but when you see our backs are turned,
it's a different
something else. Yeah.
And that's the thing. Our teachers get a different view of our child.
Yes.
We see one thing, and then when you go to do the parent-teacher conference, the teacher is telling you something about your child, and you're like, who's that
my
child?
son is doing that?
My child is, So it's important that parents now use those WhatsApp groups to follow up, see what's going on in the class. If something the child doesn't understand something, ask the teacher. Now, the teachers are telling you in the research too, yes, you have that opportunity to do that. However, be mindful that they are also human and that they have a home, and so you don't message them midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock in the night. Because some parents they're not thinking, right? They again, like I said, they're thinking of their child and they want to send the teachers messages all hours of the night or all hours, any odd hours, just to ask about a child.
Well, it could be a good excuse to get the teacher's number.
It would what?
It could be a good excuse to get the teacher's number.
Well, you would have the teacher's number in the WhatsApp group, Andrew. But to send messages, you have to also be professional and discreet. That's what the parents are saying. You have the teachers are saying in their expectations is that we want you to be considerate. Even though you have our number and even though we have a WhatsApp group, you cannot use it for your own personal agendas and harassment.
Exactly.
I guess
Exactly.
that's what you're alluding to, because some people might want to do that. But that's one of the expectations of our teachers as well. The other thing is to respond to your calls or texts, which I just mentioned, again, after hours. I didn't see that. That connected to what I was talking about with the WhatsApp group, and they're saying that you might end up getting yourself on the annoying parent list. Because the teacher might see you calling or sending a message, and because you have been so miserable in your messages or the way you communicate, they may just put you on that list and ignore you, or may not respond to you timely. So parents need to be mindful of that as well. Give extra credit and prioritize the need of one child over the needs of the entire classroom. This is one of the most frustrating and disrespectful things a parent can request a teacher to do. Extra credit opportunities are offered on a whole class level, not on student by student. Usually it is announced in class to ensure all students have the chance to improve their grades. So some parents, like I tell you, want you to give their child extra credit. I actually witnessed a parent doing that at a swim meet. She pulled the coach to the side and said, "Don't you think you should give him an extra 2 points for whatever?" And the coach said, "No, I cannot do that. I cannot do that."
But you remember that was a big scandal in the U.S. one time. And if you remember that, parents actually ended up in court because they wanted favor being shown to the children.
Some parents, even we have seen scandals where parents pay extra for their child to get, to be favored.
The worst thing is you get some crook working in the school system. More than happy to oblige.
So exactly. So one of the things that teachers are saying that they expect is that you will not come and ask for favors. Do not put the teachers in that position where you're asking the teacher to give the child extra credit. Or some parents would be like, well, the child got a C with a 59, or the child is missing 1 grade, 1 mark, 16 maybe to go over to the B.
Yes.
Why can't you just give my child 1 more mark, to go over to the B? No, your child deserved 59, your child got 59. I mean, if it's a situation where you have gone over your child papers, because some parents are meticulous. I used to be like that in terms of looking at the exam paper and going over the questions and to see whether or not you got something wrong that you should have actually gotten right? So then you can say, "Oh, miss, I know that you taught the children that there were 9 planets and I see he had 9 and you gave it to him wrong." So at least you can challenge that. But to go after the teacher for extra credit and for extra attention to your child is not something that the teachers take very, very lightly. It kind of put them in an awkward position. Yeah. So we're doing well when it comes to the expectations of the teachers for our parents. We spoke about dehumanizing themselves, which is what I spoke about earlier when I said that the teachers are humans and they have families too and they have children. They are not robots. So please be nice to the teachers. Do not curse them or take out your anger on them where your child is concerned. Parents believe let's look at the traits that parents believe that is most important for their child's teacher to have or to possess. So parents, they did a survey and they were looking at that of all the teacher traits listed, parents prioritize patience. So parents feel that teachers must be patient with their children. If you are not patient, you should not be a teacher.
Especially if the child is slow.
A little slower. And some of us are not patient. Andre, I know me as a parent, even sometimes when I was teaching my children, I just was not patient with them not catching something quicker than I anticipated that they would. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I said to myself, well, I don't think I can be a teacher.
It's true, Lotus, because sometimes the children have certain mental issues and their approach to you, if you don't understand what's going on.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes it can actually scare you.
I know.
And then your response.
I experienced that because my daughter in particular, she never really liked maths a whole lot. And I like maths. So I was always, I was very impatient with her. And she used to say to me, "Mom, I think you scared me into not liking maths too because of your lack of patience with me." So parents are saying that we actually want the teachers to be very patient with our children, that they exercise a lot of patience.
Especially if you have these, what do you call these children again? The special needs?
Special needs kids.
Special needs.
Well, yeah, for sure. If you're a special ed teacher, you have to be a special person. I believe that. And you cannot just go into that area not liking children or not understanding. Your patients have to be above and beyond because, you have to go extra for them.
And I said a while ago, when you interact with those children, they can act very, very strangely. And if you don't understand what's going on, then you will respond in like manner.
And you can make them worse.
Exactly.
If you don't. The other thing they're saying that they expect from their teachers is the experience. 76% of those that were surveyed say they want their teachers to be experienced.
Experience in what?
Experience in teaching, in interacting with children, communicating. There are some parents, some teachers that are green and they don't probably have the patience. They don't probably have the whole thing down pack. So parents are saying they want their teachers to be experienced teachers. They don't want green teachers. It's almost like, when you go to the hospital, there are some patients that are very disrespectful to young doctors. They would see a young doctor come in and they would be like, hey, who are you and why are you here? Well, I'm here to, take care of your needs. No. And they actually call for an older doctor because for them, experience. You know what I mean?
Yes.
For them, experience is important. So some of the parents are saying they want their teachers to be experienced teachers.
Do you think we have a good balance here in the teaching service? A good balance of experience, and of course you have the academics. Do you think we have a good balance?
I think I do think that there are quite a few teachers that have been in the service for very long. So if that's the length of time is experienced, if you want to say that. But I think it's more than just the length of time. I think an experienced teacher is a teacher who understands the craft of teaching, how to get to that student, how to motivate your students, how to, make them become their best selves, perform better, having patience, being able to communicate is the type of teacher for me that really speaks to experience, how they, administer that.
Do you think a rookie can possess those qualities?
Of course, I think so, because some people can be, if they love teaching, there's a passion for teaching, they want to teach, they want to make a difference in a child's life. They can go into teaching and exhibit all of that, even though they just started doing it. They are more focused. There are some teachers that are more focused. I mean, the teacher that motivated the show, she's not an experienced in terms of long time teaching, but I see her commitment to her students. She's very committed. She's very involved in their development. And the way she's so meticulous about setting those goals and meeting them and meeting with the parents and being excited about the students. So they are teachers, I think, even though they're not in the service for a very long time. Their commitment
so
speaks
because of the love that they have
for the craft. It may speak to the experience.
You have a point there, because was it yesterday I was speaking with a nurse about doing an autopsy, and she was telling me what it entails. And then I said, who? I don't want to see something like that. She said to me, what you talking about? She said to me, it's beautiful.
Wow. You see, because that's her thing.
She loves it.
So the parents would like the teachers to be experienced, and whatever that means in terms of being all encompassing, parents feel more comfortable with a teacher who is more experienced. They would like a teacher that is more organized. Like I said a while ago, teachers set their goals, they have their objectives, they're very organized. You go to the classroom, there are some teachers, you go to the classroom, and I'm thinking of children that are from preschool age to maybe, CPE age. I'm not saying that the rest don't need organization, but I think with the younger ones, you go to some of the classrooms and you see some of the teachers are so organized. The books are in order, the Bristol boards are so clean with what they're teaching the kids. They seem to be on top of things. Parents feel more comfortable when a teacher is organized, because you feel like, okay, that teacher will be able to express your child's performance and your child's behavior in the class, because that teacher seems to be more grounded in understanding what's going on in her class. So parents would like the teachers to be more organized. So organization was one of the things. They also want the teachers to be creative and have empathy. They want the teachers to be creative and have empathy. And I think with the creativity, yes, I could see that parents would want the teachers to be creative, because some children learn differently. So some teachers may have one method for one child, although generally she teaches the class. She can use little methods of creativity for other children because she noticed how they learn better, right? So they want the teachers to be as creative as they can, and they also want the teachers to empathize with the children. because you can't have a teacher that have no empathy for children. They're not interested in what's going on. You know, you want the teachers to have that kind of soft place to land.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
So empathy is one of the things that they talk about as well. They're saying that the least important teacher trait, according to the parents, was strictness. So a lot of parents do not care for the teachers being too strict. Now, I know that there are some teachers that are very strict, Andre. There are some teachers that are so strict. I remember when I went to school, we had some strict teachers that when you saw them coming, you knew you had to you had to sign yourself. You had to pray that you would not get into any problems with them because they were very, very strict. But they're saying here that some of the parents could use a little less strictness from the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
But some of us want strict teachers. We want teachers that are really serious with what they're doing. I think again the word balance comes in. You want a teacher that is strict, but I don't know if I would prefer a teacher that is so strict that the child is also fearful, or the child feels like
he or she can't approach you.
Yes, there's a restriction.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure that the children feel comfortable enough to tell the teacher something that is bothering them, or even to ask a question. There are some teachers that do not foster an environment where the children can ask questions. If you have a class and the child have to feel that they cannot ask a question, then that's a problem.
I said, or even approach you. So you want some strictness when it comes to respect, but you also want to be able to have the children feel easy, comfortable to come in and communicate with you. All right? What time? We still have time, Andre? 10 minutes.
Okay. Let me continue what I was doing. So I think in terms of the expectations from the teachers, I think we went through the list of communication and all of that. There was one more thing I wanted to look at, but I think is from a parent perspective that I had in mind. I think I lost my train of thought. They were talking about effective instruction. We spoke about that. We spoke about the communication. I think for the teacher, we were saying respectful boundaries. So teachers and parents should establish respectful communication boundaries. And we were saying that the parents would avoiding unnecessary communications at certain times. So you have to have a boundary with the teacher. You cannot, and I think even when they were looking at as well with teachers imposing their religious beliefs on your child. I know that over the years we've spoken about taking out prayers from school, and I know I'm not sure what it is now, if we actually pray in the classroom or if the children actually sign themselves. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I don't have small children. But I know that some teachers, parents are saying that they impose their religious beliefs on your child. And is that the teacher's responsibility to really tell your child what religion that they should be in? Like if you know your child the teacher is Pentecostal, are you having a whole Pentecostal moment in the class in the morning when you worshiping with the children, and maybe the parents do not approve?
You're right. So I imagine some teachers would take their religion into the school setting.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so parents complain about that.
And they operate according to their philosophy.
Their philosophy. And I think that's something to me that's crossing the line.
Yes, I agree.
You do not impose your religious belief on that child at all. Neither, I mean, again, the children are sometimes so small they don't care about imposing their beliefs on the teachers. But the teachers themselves need to be very, very mindful of that in terms of how they. I mean, one teacher was telling me that in a particular school, there's a teacher who has a whole speaker, and she plays like her music very loud in the classroom, and so the children have to, they know all the songs because she because she belongs to this religious group. So she makes sure that the children get that dose of gospel music in the morning.
Yes.
Now, that's not to say that it's a bad thing, but I mean, you have to maybe watch how much of it you impose on children, especially children who have
different faith.
Yes, alternative faith.
And some of the kids are quite conscious, about those things.
Of course, they are conscious. Teachers should provide discipline and not enable bad behavior. Now, I think one of the callers who called a while ago, he was talking about he doesn't believe in raising your hands to the child. Now, that's another conversation when it comes to corporal punishment. Some teachers can get really, really brutal in hitting people's children, and so the parents do not expect, or the expectation that I think parents would have for teachers is that you do not raise your hand on our kids. However, back in the day we got it from our teachers, right?
Yes. Of course. And now we're learning belatedly that it was supposed to be the principal who's the only one that's authorized according to the law. I'm
not sure what obtains now. Is it that we don't teach children at all in schools?
Well, the law hasn't changed. It's just that I think maybe some teachers are still ignorant about the fact that they're not supposed to be doing that. Now, we accepted that in school in our day because we didn't know better, and maybe the teachers themselves didn't even know better either. But the principal, as far as I know, what the law says, principal is the only one who's supposed to be administering any kind of corporal punishment.
Okay. So teachers, again, the expectation is that you wouldn't be raising your hand on our kids.
I wonder how often that still happens. I wonder. In today's world, well, as you said, I don't have any little ones, and I'm not too sure.
I think, Andre, I mean, maybe some of the teachers could give your child a callot. You know what I'm saying? Like a teacher see a child outside doing something out of the way, and maybe she comes up and she gives him a tap.
Or throw a chalk at you.
Or throw something. Yeah, I don't know about these things, Andre. I don't know if they still happen. I'm sure, again, with the level of frustration that maybe a teacher can have with a particular child, she may feel, compelled to maybe grab the child. But I rather suspect that it's at a minimum now, because it's not something, again, with the parents, with the type of parents we have today. I don't know that before, when the teacher gave it to you before, you were lucky that your teacher did not tell your mother, because you would get it from the teacher and your mother. But now you cannot hit a child, and for the child to go home and tell the parent that,
right. So I want to ask you a very important question. Do you think that the practice of ostracizing a certain child because they got a tongue lashing from the child's parent or parents, does that you think that still happens today, where the child now is going to be ostracized?
I think it does
by the teacher,
in terms of favoritism. Yes, and that speaks about the experience that we were talking about a while ago. Sometimes teachers are, they have their egos, they in their feelings, and if they have a clash with the parent, they take it out on the child.
Yeah.
So the child now feels separated, maybe even the way they talk to the child, just like parents,
or not talk,
or not speak, exactly, not communicate with the child. And there are some teachers too that, on the flip side, have favorite students. Okay, you've heard of the term teacher's pet. There are some students that the teacher would always call to do something, whether you prefect the class or you give out the test papers.
Especially when they're outstanding academically. That's their favorite. Oh, boy.
Not only academically.
They turn on by that.
Sometimes they have a good relationship with the child's parent, and so they tend to have that relationship with the child as well, where the child is chosen to do everything else. So you could imagine if you have a fight with the child parent, now you ostracize the child and you put the child in a corner, or you're not speaking to the child, or if the child has a complaint, you do not address the complaint because you do not like the child.
We have to wrap up.
So so I hope today, Andre, that we were able to just continue the conversation around that. I like I said, my brain was really scattered with this with the passing of Tony, and I just have one quote that I would like to leave with us. I love Khalil Gibran. Some people call him Gibran, and it is something that, especially with the situation now with the passing of Tony. It says, when you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. You heard that, Andre?
I'm trying to wrap my
It says,
brain around
when
it.
you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. So the loving memories that you have of your brother, you are weeping for what has been your delight. That's what they're saying. So
Yes,
thank you so much.
I get it.
Thank you so much. And until next week, Wednesday.
Thank you, Lotus, as always, for your service.
You're very
Until next week, Wednesday, same time. Do have yourself a safe day.
Yes,
All
I
right?
will. Thank
Yes.
you, Andre.
Okay, you've been listening to and viewing Unrestricted with Lotus. Heard and seen on Rev-Up St. Lucia 95.9 every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now we have a brand new program coming on next. It's called Mind Matters with Dr. Julius Gilead. That's coming up in just a moment. First show in this new series. So please stand by. Those of you on Facebook, etc., etc. We'll just take a little break and get back to you in a moment.